Hi, welcome to the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, I'm going to show you a very quick tip on getting very even stereo width on your sound source. It's not a new trick, it's a very old sound engineering trick, and it's based on a phenomenon known as the Haas Effect. Now, the Haas Effect, or the precedence effect as it's sometimes called, is basically when a listener experiences two sounds, normally the same sound, and they reach you with a very slight amount of delay, and it gives you the impression that your sound source has more stereo width. That's a very basic explanation. An even more basic explanation would be it makes your sounds wide. Let's jump in. So as is often the case with the MPC, you have to work out little workarounds. If you have a DAW, you'll probably have a stock plugin that does this really quickly, but it's quite a fun workaround in the MPC. So I have a bunch of mono samples. Now with mono samples, you can't have a stereo spread. Even if you use the stereo width plugin in here, if it's a mono plugin, it's just not going to do it for you. So this technique gives you the ability to take mono samples and give them stereo width. Now, a lot of my samples, my drum samples, and even some of my loops came from my SP1200 and my MPC 60, and they were mono samples. So I started using this technique to give some of my hi-hats and some of my claps that were mono a bit of stereo width, basically. But I'm just going to show you how to do it. It's really easy, very quick. So we have a couple of samples there to work with. We'll start with the clap. Claps are really good to give stereo width to. If you go into Program Edit, on the first page, you have, on the samples, you have your actual sample. But if you go to the second page, here's where you can layer your samples. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do it on that pad actually. So what we're going to do, we're going to add the clap in again. So basically you've got the clap on two different layers. We are then going to hard pan the first clap to the left, hard pan the second clap to the right. Then if you go on to the next page, here you can offset. And that's what we're doing here. We've got two sounds, and we're basically going to delay one very slightly, and that fools the brain into thinking that it has stereo width. It's a really clever technique, and you should read up about the Haas Effect online. The guy who came across it, a German scientist, I think. So we've got that far. We've hard panned our signals, clap to the left, clap to the right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset. So we'll take this one here, and if you listen very carefully, I'm hoping that this comes across in YouTube, you'll hear this very mono clap gradually spread out across the stereo field. Let's take it back to 0 again. Mono, front and center. Now I've found about 300 is round about, it sounds nice. If you push things any further, you can actually start hearing the delay, and it's almost like a slapback. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Slapback effect is amazing, I love it. But for this particular procedure, to get a little bit of stereo width, 300, 200, you know, I mean, experiment, use your ears. Not all sounds are going to be the same, so don't use 300 as a default. Use your ears. I mean, I'll push it. See, now I'm starting to hear a little bit of a delay. But that's not actually that bad, especially on claps. I mean, a lot of 80s stuff had a kind of effect like that if you listen to them. A lot of electro stuff had that kind of delay effect, using a pre-delay probably on a reverb, non-linear reverb. But for this purpose, we'll leave it about 300. There you go, nice wide clap. Mono, front and center, nice and wide. So we'll do the same with the hats. Go back to page 2, layer the hat in again, hard pan left, hard pan right, next page, offset. See, straight away it just gives it more width. And the good thing about doing things like that with hats is it does sound a little bit more natural, a bit more like an actual drum kit would sound. I mean, obviously you would pan just to one side for hats and stuff, but this is really good for cymbals, to give it some width, give it some side information. And it also makes a bit of space in the center for your snare drum and your kick drum, for instance. So let's just listen to that hat again. Let's push it a bit. Then mono again. And we'll just finish up on this 909. So layer them again. Let's go back to page 2. Hard pan left, hard pan right. Page 3. Offset. Now 909s, this sounds great actually in house music, to have the snare and the kick drum front and center and then spread in the cymbals. I mean, that's a really nice effect on house music. A lot of deep house productions have that kind of effect. So what I've done is I've set it up so that I've got the mono version and the panned version. So we'll have a quick listen through. Actually, that one's not been offset, so let's just offset that one now. And then we'll finish up on the drum beat. Okay, so if we go to this one here, I've already panned that left, right, page 3 into the offset. That's the mono. So there you have it, pretty basic quick tip, like I said. Now, one of the things that can happen when you use effects like this is you can introduce phase issues, comb filtering, etc. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It can actually be a really happy accident. But you decide, check in mono if you can. I know that's not always easy in the MPC, but in mono is when things will start falling apart if you do have phase issues and that kind of thing. And that's it, simple as that. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more mixing, mastering and MPC tutorials and reviews. This is the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. Till next time.